Have you ever seen Russian nesting dolls? That's pretty much what Python closures are. Let's go through them with some examples. To understand closures, we mainly need to have some idea about scope and also be familiar with nested functions. Let's walk through this example. So this greet function is taking an argument like hello or hi, and then it's just passing it down to the inner function. And then at the end, I'm returning the whole inner function. I'm not calling it. I'm just returning this whole thing. So right now, this whole greet name is assigned to my hello variable. So the way that I would call it, the same way as you would call any other function, is you pass the arguments to it that it requires. So right now I just need to pass a name. So if I pass Alex or Leo and print this out, I see that greeting that I expected. Now the benefit of this is that if I try to use a different greeting, this will not touch the scope that I just defined. What I mean by that is this greeting right now is equal to hello. But if I try something like hi and just pass hi here, I could do the same thing and print this out and I see hi Tom. Now down here, even though here I'm passing hi, that greeting is already saved for the hello case. So if I switch back to hello here and print this out, you see that I have this separation between these greeting arguments that I passed. So there is no overriding of each other, and I can reuse this function with however many greetings that I like. I think the benefit of closures become a little more clear when you try to separate scope and keep track of variables. Let's walk through a slightly more complicated example. So if I define a names variable here, which is a set, and I just want to keep track of who did I greet, and if I try to greet them again, I want to continue that conversation, kind of like these bots that you get on a website and they say hi, they don't repeatedly say hi. Maybe the second time they will say, how are you? The third time they will say, hey, good to see you, and things like that. If they would continue to just say hi, you would probably, feel that there's a bug in the program, or it would not feel real. So I have this name, this name set, and I'm going to only use the hello portion. So the logic for this is fairly simple. So what I am doing here is, if the name that I've called already has been called, so I'm saying if name is in names, then I don't want to say hi again. I will say good to see you again with that name. And then if it's the first time, then I will say hello to that name. And at the end, I'm just adding that name to that name set so I can keep track of who did I already greet, so the second time I don't say the same thing and I say good to see you again. So let's call this and see how it works. So right now I have just Alex. So if I call this, I'm saying hello Alex. Now if I call this again with the same name, well, first let's try a different name. So if I try a different name, I see hello Tom, which is fine. Now if I call any of these one more time, that second time you see that I'm saying, hey, good to see you Tom. So the conversation is moving forward. Now the reason that I would use closure for a case like this is that this names set is separate for every instance that you define a greet function. So this hello conversation is, for example, a conversation about a certain thing that bot is having with a customer. So maybe you have another thread of conversation that starts with hi and continues on similarly, but you still want to keep track of those names. So let's say again I'm going to use Tom, so you see that these two names sets are not overriding each other, and this concept of closure is keeping a different name set for each of these greet names. So if I have hi Tom here, you see that I want to change this to hi. You see that here I have hi Tom again, even though Tom is in that name set from the beginning. Now, if I try to say hi to Tom again down here, then I will see good to see you again, Tom. What I want you to take away from this video is that we can protect ourselves from polluting the outer scope by using closures and define the variables that we need for that inner function in a wrapper function or outer function. And that way we don't have to worry about overriding names or variables that we have defined in different snippets of our code. You can almost think of closures as a mini class, and if you have a use case where you need multiple functions, it makes more sense to use a class with static methods. But for a single function, closures are a very elegant way of separating concerns and defining your variables in their own scope. I hope this video clarified what closures are used for, and let me know if you have any questions. I will see you soon.